So what options? I want to talk about options, alternatives, in case this does happen. It's Jasmine Nicole, and welcome to Weight with Jazz, a safe space for the obese, the overweight, those who just want to lose weight, and myself to share our weight journeys. And a little bit of my life, too. I used to be 284 pounds 12 years ago. I lost 115 pounds naturally through intermittent fasting and running. That put me at 175 pounds. Still in the obesity category, and I felt myself actually gaining more weight. So I needed to gain some control, and I chose to pursue the last 45 pounds on GLP-1 medication, Zepbound brand, and now currently Tirzepatide compound. I'm on the maintenance dose of 7.5 Tirzepatide compound as a split dose. So I split it in half, and I take 3.75 milligrams weekly. This is touching base on the recent GLP-1 news that we found out in regard to Zepbound and Mounjaro shortage possibly ending in the next days or so. No definitive time given as far as a date, but just like a loose statement on a matter of days, which is kind of sending people, well, not kind of, it's actually sending people in a panic, an uproar, as far as what are Tirzepatide compound users going to do? How's this going to impact Tirzepatide compound users? Because we do know that the use of the GLP-1 compound medication specifically is due to the shortage of the brand medication. So once the FDA determines that the brand medication is no longer in shortage, the likeliness of the GLP-1 compounded medication being distributed out as it's been now, like just a regularity now, is going to end. Now, the compounds aren't ending in general because compounds have been around for a very long time. And GLP-1 compounds aren't ending, but there will be a major limitation on it from it, in my opinion. So if the brand medication leaves the shortage list, it's no longer in shortage, individuals can still get compound medications, but it will be due to, I believe, medical necessity, such as a comorbidity or an allergic reaction, or to an ingredient that's in the brand medication that needs to be individually made to accommodate that patient. A little, pretty much some red tape. So there are going to be limitations. It's not like the GLP won't be cut off completely for Tirzepatide if Zepbound is really removed off of the shortage list. So what options? I want to talk about options, alternatives, in case this does happen. If this does happen, I mean, right now we only could just really speculate on if it is removed from the shortage list, that possibly Tirzepatide compound will come to a limitation level. It will come to a semi-halt with limitations. And this all will be probably finalized by the FDA and all of that, like and given time frame for people to get themselves together to figure out what they can do. I don't think it's just going to be something that is immediate, absolutely immediate, once it's no longer seen on that list, like that day or the next day, compounds no longer distribute. They're cutting you off. I don't think that is going to be the case. and especially without anything formalized in writing, announcements. So I'm definitely keeping an eye out and an ear out for anything in regard to the shortages and compounds, which I always had my ear clear anyway. You feel me? Because it's like I said, this stuff is constantly changing, and we're constantly speculating. We hope to be on this medication, and we hope that based on the information that we have received, that they're still going to be in stock, that compounds will still be fulfilled. But at the end of the day, it's the powers that be. At the end of the day, it is the powers that be. And we don't run the show. Money runs the show. Money runs the show. Money makes the decisions, whether they are righteous decisions or unconstitutional or whatnot. But that's for litigation to figure out. That's when you got to tap into the legal field when you feel wronged. But in this case right now, if measures are being followed, there's really nothing that we really can do but just sit and see what color the wall turns, as they say on Color Purple. What color is the wall going to turn? But are there options? Absolutely. We're going to make some alternatives. That's one thing. We're going to make alternatives. So alternative one, just something to think about. Possibly transitioning from Tirzepatide to Semaglutide. If this becomes a compound issue, after consulting with your primary physician, your primary provider. I'm not saying to do this. I'm just saying these are alternative options that you could consider after you do your research, after you consult with your physician. Now, semaglutide is a single GLP-1 agonist. Tirzepatide is a dual GLP-1 agonist. The extra agonist is the GIP. So you have the GLP and the GIP. Semaglutide is just the GLP. However, it still gives the appetite suppression, and it still does give the side effect of weight loss. It still does give that. Now, it just gives it for some at different rates. The data is different from Tirzepatide because Tirzepatide is dealing with 2 hormones versus 1. So you actually, you have extra power for weight loss on Tirzepatide versus semaglutide. But however, don't discredit semaglutide, aka Ozempic, aka Wegovy, because they still do produce massive weight loss. There's many patients that have lost hundreds of pounds on semaglutide. So, but there also are some that lose on a slower rate, and there also are some that have not lost really much of anything. And there are different factors that could play in that. It could just depend on, what's really going on in your body. Yeah, because these are incretin medications, and, definitely diabetic targeted medications are here to self-correct. Even the weight loss medication, Tirzepatide, is here to self-correct your metabolic system, self-correct your blood sugar levels. So in regards to diabetes medication, semaglutide, and those who may not be losing much of anything on it, it could be based on how damaged your body is. How much correction the medication has to do to stabilize or level out your levels, your blood sugar levels, get your vitals or whatever stabilized to a certain point, and then start reaping the benefits of the weight loss side effects. And if that still isn't the case, it could be a number of other factors. There could be thyroid issues, and the list can go on. But Tirzepatide does have an extra leg up technically when it comes to that with weight loss. But at this time, it's like we have, consider options and deal with what you can get. And if you're looking for something to give you a GLP-1 appetite suppression, maybe after consulting with your physician, switching, if this is going to be a major thing and this is not a bluff and this is just not, bluffy verbiage, just throwing out claims. But I really don't think they're throwing out claims. The CEO of Eli Lilly, made a major statement and on record, knowing that the people would not take it lightly. They would take it seriously. So I definitely think it's some validity behind it. I don't want to really bluff it. But like I said, we really don't know until we see what color the wall changes. You gotta watch daily. Pay attention to the news. This thing is becoming like Wall Street stocks. Dow Jones, S&D. You got to keep your eyes on it. See what's going to happen next. But consider that option. Also, there are other GLP-1 alternatives, although less invasive. But they still can provide some type of GLP-1 suppression aid or some type of appetite suppression. Y'all have to think outside the box. We're going to have to think outside the box. Because in the event there is any type of intervention and you want to continue on what you're on, continue on your journey, we're going to have to make modifications. You may have to need to couple one thing with another. Burpendine. No, not what is it? Burperine? Burperine. What they call nature's natural Ozempic, The story is still up on that, but it's supposed to give some form of appetite suppression over the counter. Just throw in possible alternative options that you can look further into with your own research and see what can be a plan B, C, D, E, or F for you.